Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay, wonderful. So let's read what we did last time and then we pick up from there. Verse 21 and 22. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam, iha samsare bahudustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare, bhaja govindam, bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja budhamate. Ratyarcharpata virachita kantha punya punya vivarjita pantha yogi yogani yojita chitta ramate balon mattava deva bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Okay. So last time we saw verses 21 and 22. 21 was all about crying for God. When was the last time we cried for God? And what does it mean to really long for God? Sometimes we really don't even feel that we're bound. We're in bondage. We don't even feel like we need to search or seek because we're so caught up in our own worlds. But verse 21 says, take me. I just want to come to you. It says, God, I am so tired. I'm beaten down, going around and around this cycle. I just want now some peace. I just want some peace. Please save me. Kripaya pare, pahi murare. Save me because this samsara is endless. It keeps going on, and I can't even see the end of it. And this is a beautiful prayer. When a seeker has this ardent prayer of wanting to be free, then freedom is going to be right at their doorstep. The thing is, we don't have that burning desire. Some of us, we desire the world and we desire God also. So we're swinging back and forth. World, God, world, God. Some of us say, if it comes in this life, fine. If not, I'm willing to go through another life. But there are very few of us which say, this is what I want, and this is what my life's about. That doesn't mean that one has to leave home. Remember, it just means that the seeking is so intense that the whole family begins to seek with you. Nobody said you have to go anywhere. Stay in your house, stay in your home, seek with that intensity. And that seeking will pass on to everyone. And it is in that house, that home, which is truly blessed with the vision of God. So many of our grahastas, or our married couples, had these visions of God. It was not only for those people who left, it was also for those people who stayed rooted in their house, in their homes. So wherever you are, at whatever stage you are in, intensify that seeking for God. Intensify that craving and that love for God. How does one intensify it? Spend time with those who are in satsang. Keep spending time with the lives of saints and sages. Read about their lives, and that will kindle that desire in our hearts. And soon enough, we too will seek. What happens when one seeks deeply? We saw in verse 22 that their life becomes one of giving. Ratyarcharpata virachita kantaha. When one has this relationship with God, life becomes a life of giving because there's a deep surrender. There's a deep surrender and a deep faith that no matter what, God will take care. And so everything is giving. This person takes minimum but gives maximum. The person in this verse wears only a shawl from pieces of rags that picked up from the road, stitches it together and wears it as a shawl. And this person is beyond merit or demerit because they're beyond the ego. And their minds are always reveling in the truth. And how are they? They're like a child. They're carefree, spontaneous, in awe, simple, honest, innocent, just like children. The beauty about children is that they don't so much protect their ego, especially young kids. They don't have that need to look good or appear good. If something gets stuck in their teeth or some chocolate comes on their face, they laugh it off because they think it's so incredibly funny. Whereas we're trying to fix it right away, clean it, clear it up, it's dirty. Where they run wild and free spontaneously sometimes, we are like, okay, no, wait, we have to be on schedule. Where they have the ability to drop the past, let everything go, we sometimes drag it. Where they have the sense of awe when they look at nature and greenery in the ocean, we don't have time. And so the way children are in awe, in spontaneity, are able to drop the past, who have the ability to laugh at themselves and be wild and carefree, so too an enlightened being is like that, because they don't have the need to protect their ego. They're not trying to appear like any one person because they're not a person. Body will have to do what it does. The mind will do what it has to do. Everything will have to do whatever it has to do, but that's okay. They are above and beyond the body and mind. And they are like a mad person. What's a mad person? Unmattavat. A mad person is something who sees something we don't see. And what we see, they don't see. Right? Somebody's intoxicated. What happens? They're seeing all kinds of things in their minds. And we're like, what are you looking at? And whatever we're seeing, they can't see. So a wise person is like this. While we see the names and the forms in the world, they see that pure awareness shining through. We are so focused on names and forms and images and characteristics. They just see oneness. And that oneness that they see, we cannot see. We see destruction and division and harm. They see harmony. We see harm, they see harmony. We see division, they see unity. We see names and forms, they see the expression of God. So what they see, we cannot see. What we see, they cannot see. And that's why they're unmatavat, they're mad. Now, what is it that they're rooted in? How did they get here? So this verse now also is very important. So 21 was very important. And now 23 is also very important. So I'll ask Rashmika ji to repeat after me. So, moment, all right. Kastvam goham kuta ayataha.
Kastvam koham kut ayatah.
Kame janani ko me tatah.
Kame janani ko me tatah.
Iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram.
Iti paribhavaya sarvasaram.
Vishvam tyaktva swapna vicharam.
Vishvam tvaktva swapna vicharam.
Kastvam koham kuta ayatah kame janani kome tatah iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Kahatvam, who are you? Kuta ayataha. Kahatvam, who are you? Kaha aham, who am I? Kuta ayataha, where did I come from? Kame janani, who is my mother? Ko me tataha, who is my father? Iti paribhavaya, thus inquiring this. Sarvamasaram, all of this entire experience is essenceless. This Vishwa, this world, tyaktva, having let it go, having dropped it. Why? Swapna vichara, because it's born of imagination. So leaving aside this entire world, drop it, because it's born of imagination. Very deep verse. Who are you? Who am I? From where did I come? Who is my mother? Who is my father? Thus inquire, leaving aside the entire world of experience, essenceless, and a mere dreamland born of imagination. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. How does the spiritual path start? The spiritual path starts upon inquiry. Only when we question, then we get an answer and we go on a quest. When we don't question, when we take life as it comes and just enjoy, we will get stuck in bondage. Knowledge only happens when we inquire. We keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. And we ask, who are you and who am I? Who are we really? And we learned in self-unfoldment that we're not this body. We're not this mind. We're not this intellect. We're not this. Whatever we see, whatever we know, whatever we experience, this is not us. And when it says, who is your mother? Who is your father? Why is it asking these questions? It's asking these questions because all of our relationships are based on the body. That body came out of a womb, and that's why that person became our mother. And that mother united with the father, and that's why that became our father. It's all related to our body. Our brother and sister, the relation is related to the body. Aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, sons, daughters, all of our relationships are rooted in the body. So it's not saying deny our parents, deny our siblings or family. What it's saying is deny our origin. Deny our origin. Deny our origin of this, of thinking that we are a body. We are not the body. We are not the body. And when we understand that when we are not the body, what happens? Then we don't only have one mother, the whole world is our mother. We don't only have one father, the whole world is our father. Because everything is an expression of God. So kame janani ko me tata here is not to deny a mother or father, but it's to deny one single mother or one single father. The whole, for one who has realized that they are pure awareness, for them, everybody is God. Everybody is a mother, everybody is father. Don't limit oneself to one body and get stuck there. We are way beyond the body. So don't get stuck in one single person, one single family, one single being, one single notion. Break the body, break through the body, break away from the body, break away from the mind. Because who we are is beyond that mind. Who are you? Who am I? We are one and the same. We are beyond this body, beyond this mind. And What is this world then? What is this world? This world is just a dream. It's just a dream. This is very hard hitting. How can it be a dream? So many things are happening in the world, so many things are going on, and you're saying it's a dream. We're saying it's a dream. How? Let us inquire into this relationship. First of all, what is the world? When we inquire into the world, we inquire into two states, waking state and the dream state. Let's put them side by side and see how many commonalities they actually have with each other. What do we see about the dream state? The dream state is something that we experience, is it not? We all experience the dream state. So I am the experiencer and I experience a state. It's called dream. In between waking and sleep, I experience a dream. What is waking state? Isn't it also something we experience? It's an experienced state. I'm the experiencer. That's an experienced state. To drive this home a little further, we come to knower and known. This bottle is known, correct? I am the knower. The knower is different from the known. The knower cannot be the known. I know this bottle. I cannot be this bottle. I know this bottle, right? I know this book. I know this book. I cannot be this book, right? I'm the knower. This is the known. I know and experience the dream state. Can I be that dream state? No, it's different from me. I know and experience the waking state. Can I be in that? No, it's different from me. I am the knower. It's known. It's different from me. It's that object and I am the subject. So the first difference, or the first point we have to make is that the waking state, like the dream state, is an experienced object. It's an object of our experience. It's an object of our experience. We're the experiencer. So we have nothing to do with it. It's an object of our experience. Now, the second point is that experience depends on the experiencer. Where does the dream state appear? Where does it appear? The dream state, it appears in our own mind, isn't it? It appears in our own mind. How do we know it appears in our own mind? It appears because only if the mind projects, then we have the dream. And when the mind is folded up in deep sleep, there is no dream. So when the mind projects out, we have something called dream. When the mind folds back inwards, we have something called sleep. So that dream is only, where is it resting? It's resting in the mind. It's resting in the mind. And the mind does not function or cannot function by itself. It rests in consciousness. So dream ultimately rests where? In pure consciousness, pure awareness. What happens in waking state? Exactly the same thing. Where does the experience of waking state lie? It lies in our mind. When our mind is there, we have a whole experience of the waking state. Waking state experience is there, it's real, everything's happening. But when the mind is folded up, there's no experience of waking state. There's no experience. The mind goes to sleep and there is no experience of waking state. Again, when the mind wakes up, there's an experience of waking state. The mind folds up, there's no experience of waking state. It's gone. It's gone, completely gone. So therefore, where is waking state? It lies in our mind. Now, it is true that my waking state experience lies in my mind, your waking state experience lies in your mind, and everyone's waking state experience lies in their mind. But where does the mind lie? The mind lies in consciousness. And that only one awareness. The mind lies in awareness. that awareness you are. That awareness you are. Just like the dream state lies in the mind lies in consciousness, the waking state lies in the mind lies in consciousness. Now, what is that consciousness? How do I know that I'm that consciousness? Whenever the mind operates, it operates with time, with space, with object. It operates with that. It operates in that realm. And so, I, that true or pure consciousness, I exist without time, without space, without object. When does that happen? In deep sleep, there is a me which exists without time, without space, without objects. That is really who I am. That awareness is who I am. But only in deep sleep state, I'm not able to be aware of it. But that's me. So the whole world is coming into consciousness. Whether it's the dream world or the waking world, they are all going back into consciousness. They're all coming out of consciousness. They're all appearing in consciousness. They go into consciousness, they come out of consciousness. They appear in consciousness. And so therefore, the world is actually nothing but an appearance in consciousness. That's all that's happening. That's all that's happening. It's almost like when you turn on your phone, the whole world is on. All the emails and messages and everything. You turn it off, the whole world is off, isn't it? Like that. So how can the waking world be so incredibly true if at some point we don't experience it? Reality in Vedanta is defined as something that is always there, that is always experienced as is. That is called real. And the only thing that we can point to is awareness. There's nothing else that is always experienced as it is in all periods of time. There's nothing else. And so because this waking world is an object of experience, because it appears in consciousness, because it is negated in other states. When we go to dream state, there's no more waking state. When we go to deep sleep, there's no waking state. So in 24 hours of the day, if you're sleeping 6 hours, then what happens is for 6 hours, there's no world for you. Now, if something can go away so quickly like that, how can it be real? But there's some objections. Some people will say, no, that's absurd. It cannot be because there's some constancy to the world. There's something consistent. I mean, I wake up and I go to the same workplace, or I do the same things at home. I meet the same people. There's some sort of constancy here. It's consistent. I see the same things, the same people every day. That must make it real. Why? The dream can also be consistent. When we're dreaming, let's say if we dream that we go somewhere in Bharat, we go to Mumbai, there's also consistency there. We're going to Mumbai, we're going to meet our relatives, we're going to visit a certain place, we're going to do certain things. There's a consistency in that dream. In the dream, do we ever feel that it's not consistent? No. But then somebody might say, but wait a second. In the waking state, there's two things, okay? There's what I experience in my mind inside and what people see outside. For example, if we're out in a restaurant, right? There's my thoughts that are happening inside, but there's the table and the food, and everybody experiences that. If everybody's experiencing the table and the food and all of that, then shouldn't that be real? Well, that can also happen in dream, isn't it? You can have a dream that you're thinking something in your mind and that you're in a restaurant and everyone's experiencing the table and everyone's experiencing the food and everyone's experiencing water, juice, whatever there is. That can also happen in dream. Oh, but wait a second. The waking state that has transactional value. I have water, and in waking state, if I drink it, my thirst is quenched. That's wonderful, but in dream state, your waking water is not going to do you any good. Your waking objects only have validity in the waking world, and dream objects only have validity in the dream world. So in the dream world, if I ate 2 slices of pizza, when I wake up, I might still be hungry. In the waking world, if I ate 2 slices of pizza, in the dream world, I might still be hungry, right? So things will only have transactional value in their specific states. But wait a second, waking state is so incredibly clear, but dream state is a little bit hazy. But that's not dependent on the state, that's dependent on the person. For some people, dreams can also be very clear. They can describe their dreams. There's a whole psychology of dreams. And for some people, waking state can be hazy, right? If there's something wrong with the eye, there's something wrong with the ears, it can be hazy. So therefore, all of these arguments put forth, waking state and dream state are both experienced. They're both experienced. I am the experiencer. They both appear in consciousness. They both come out of consciousness. Therefore, waking is actually dreaming. Waking is actually dreaming. They are both one and the same. And that's why in Advaita Vedanta, you will always see these expressions that life is just a game, life is just a show, life is just a movie, life is just a dream. Life is just a dream. And this is what happens. This is what happens. Now the question is, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? Now I'm just going to show you a few slides that I showed in one of the classes. I think it's going to, help. I showed this in the Gita class, but it's a little bit more detailed. Let me just see if I can pull it up. Give me one moment. Oh, here you go. Okay, right. So how do I live my life now? How do I, let's say I analyze and I understand that this is a dream. This is a dream. First, to come to this analysis also, it takes a lot of inquiry. It doesn't hold right away. We have to keep thinking about it. But those who keep thinking about it, how do I live? How do I live if I have come to even the slightest of understanding that this world could be a dream? How do I live? Well, this is how we live. You see, now I know I'll share this with you. We all have here, we all have heard this example of the screen and the movie. I'm sure we've heard this. We've used it in Vedanta a lot of times. What happens is the screen is the consciousness and the movie is the things that are going on in the mind and in the world, right? And so at every point, you will notice that the screen is changeless. It doesn't change. It's always there as it is. And that represents pure awareness. It's always there as it is. But this movie keeps changing. It keeps changing. So every point in my life, I have the option. Am I going to identify or recognize myself as the screen, recognize that I am the screen, or am I going to get caught up in the movie? Whenever we move downwards, we get caught up in the movie. So I put, this is me. So a realized person, an enlightened being, or somebody who's striving for knowledge also will have some moments where they understand that this is me, pure awareness. And this is where we see life as a game, as a dream. When we come down, This is me, the body. This is called samsara. Samsara is nothing but a shift in identification, going from the screen to the movie. So when we come to the movie, that's it. We are in samsara. Why are we in samsara? Because our nature is unlimited. It's infinite. It is, our nature is like that. And we're going to confine ourselves to the body. So we are the body, and every part of the body is going to trouble us. I'm too fat, too thin, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm growing old. We bring the whole samsara of the body when we just make this shift. Everything of the body comes to us. Now, when the sense organs, if we think we're the sense organs, the sense of hearing, sight, smell, taste, touch, if we think that this is me, that is going to bring a whole samsara. Because at some point we will lose everything. Yeah, we will lose everything. It's just a matter of time. We will lose it. And if we're going to identify with all of this, again, we're going to get pulled down because we feel like we're being limited. We're limited. So again, samsara. If we again shift to the mind and intellect, what happens? Again, samsara. Because we limit ourselves to this mind, this intellect, that this is all I can do. This is all we can think. Somebody said this about me. Somebody didn't say this about me. All of that, again, we experience samsara. So samsara is just a shift. That's all. It's just when we realize that this world is like a dream, when we realize that it's just an appearance in me, it's like a movie in the screen, then I can stay in the screen then. If I keep shifting, I will get samsara. If I stand back, what I get is called lila. Lila, or a play. Now a question comes, but what if it's a happy thing? What if my movie is happy? Should I identify with the movie? No. Identify with the screen. Why? Because even that happiness will end. And if we do identify with that happiness, let's say I'm so happy that this is my body, again, that can result in pride, the feeling of superiority, that we're better than everybody else, that we're also capable, and that will only bring us down. Again, the same thing. Why should I not identify with the happy mind or intellect? Same thing. We will feel we are better than others. We will get lost in our own joys. We will forget God. We got so much joy that we feel like, oh, this world can really give me joy. So let me pursue it again and again and again and again. And then we forgot. Every time that we feel we can get happiness in the world, we've forgotten God. We've forgotten the truth. And so again, this shift happens. So all it is coming from here and going here. That is called samsara. So when it says these words, iti paribhavaya, paribhavaya means with full emotion, really think about it. Don't just let it be a passing thought. Don't just let it be a class. Let it be a deep, deep inquiry. Because if you get this, that's it. That's it. Sarvamasaram. Everything is essenceless in this movie. Everything is essenceless because it's just a movie. And tyaktva means leaving that attachment and identification with the world because it is like a dream. Now a question can come. Okay, if I kind of get it and I kind of am able to practice it, first of all, to get it, it takes time. Then to practice it, that also takes a lot of guts, because you really have to detach yourself. Then the question might come, what about my family? What about people around me? What about the world? When we interact with our families, with our friends, with the world, we don't need to tell them Vishwam Tyakva Swapna Vicharam. We don't need to tell them that the world is a dream. What are you doing? No, go at the level that they're at. Meet them at their level. and speak to them from their level and just make it a really nice dream for them, right? Whatever is required, whatever they need, be there. Do that. Do whatever we can. But know in your heart that it's just a dream. It's like a parent and a child. You know, when the child is first learning how to play a certain sport, what will happen? You know, the parent will be throwing the ball at the child, and the child will, the child will be so happy that they caught the ball, and the parent will be so happy that the child caught the ball. And if the child didn't catch the ball, the child will be so sad, and the parent will be so sad also. But really, it doesn't really matter for the parent. It's such a small thing. You catch it, okay. You don't catch it, big deal, right? But you engage in that game for the children to make them feel that pleasure, right? And you make sounds when they get the ball. You're so happy. And if they don't get the ball, oh, it's so, don't worry, try again, you'll get it. And you do this whole thing with them, but you understand it's just a game at the end of the day, right? In the same way, enlightened beings are like that. They appear to go up and down with people, but inside they're just the same. It's like the sun that appears to rise and set, but really the sun doesn't move. It doesn't move. In fact, everything moves around it. So this is what's called inquiry. Kastvam koham. Who are you? Who am I? Ka me janani. Who is my mother? Who is my father? Iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tyakta swapna vicharam. Life is a dream. If that's too much, life is a game. If that's too much, life is a blessing. But think about it again and again. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Now, I will pause here first in case there are any questions.